So, have you had a fitness goal that you were intending to do, that you had a desire to do, something that has maybe been on your heart for some time, but every time you go to accomplish that goal, there's something in the way, there's a restriction? Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. Hi, my name is Janelle, and I've been a fitness trainer and in the fitness industry, working with individuals across all demographics. And I want to speak with you about the things that I found to be really beneficial in addressing when it comes to our goals. I've often found that it's very seldom about the right exercise plan, the right nutrition plan, but it's about those things in the background, those root causes, issues, or root motivators that will either enable us or restrict us from being able to accomplish what we truly desire and what I personally believe is what you should have and what God wants us to have, and that's the health within our bodies. One of the things that stands out is something that came to mind with a conversation that I was having recently, not too long ago. And there was something mentioned that was very common and that I've heard, multiple times. And, there'll be this emphasis on, well, I'm doing this, or I'm trying to do this, or this is my plan, or I stopped eating this, or I'm starting to do this. But yet, in the discussion and based on the outcome, there's a contradiction there. If I'm constantly saying, to you or someone else, I'm thirsty, and then when the recommendation comes on how I can hydrate myself, I say, yeah, I've been doing that, or I've been trying to do that, that there's typically a disconnect between what we're actually doing and what we think we're doing. And that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today. In this conversation, the individual was stressing something that I frequently hear stress, like I'm trying to do, or this is what I do, or what I'll typically do is this, that, and the other, versus the specifics. But then when I'll ask a question like, well, what did you do today? It'll be completely different from what the individual said that they were doing. And so this is the place of significant impact when we address it, because we can't really change anything if we don't identify where we're at. If I say that I want to move from here to, the outside, well, I have to first identify that I'm inside so that I can determine what direction I need to go in order to get outside of the building or outside of where I'm at. And so this is why I want to speak about it today. Are you having challenges in being able to actually see the outcome of those fitness goals? Well, maybe the issue, and what I found in many situations, is what you're assuming that you're doing is not really what you're doing. Then there has to be something that is missing in between me actually getting what I need because the outcome is different. And so that's what I want you to take a look at today. Take a look at, well, where are you at now? If you say, well, I eat healthy, but, I'm still 80 pounds overweight. Well, there's a disconnect there. Okay? There's a disconnect there. There's something that's a disconnect. So one of the ways that we can bring attention to this, or move in the direction, I guess I should say, that we want to go towards that goal, is to journal what you do specifically. And I would say do this at a minimum of a week, a full week. Okay, not Monday through Wednesday and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's different. No, for a full week, so you can get a full perspective. I would recommend 2 weeks, anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, but at least one full week, a full week where you have actually documented what you're doing on all these different days. And when we look at the specifics, okay, how much you're eating, how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrates, what time, which is really important, the hydration or the vitamins you're taking in. Document all these things with as much detail as possible. Just set one designated time that you're going to do this throughout the day, and write down everything that you put in your body, even if you consider it to be a snack. Not just the things that you consider to be a meal, but the things you also just consider to, oh, just took a taste, or I just took a sip. Write all of that down, because if it goes in your body, it makes a difference on your outcome. And what I've found is that when we document what actually happened, we're able to see plain and simple, like, what did you have today? And it's typically different from what they verbally communicated to me. Well, I always do this. Okay, well, what did you have today? Oh, today was a little bit different. I did, okay, well, what did you do yesterday? And what we find is that just within that, those last few days, within up until that conversation, that there was a significant difference in what the person intended to do, what they desired to do, they were actually doing. And that's the first place that you want to start. Now, from there, of course, you want to find out if the goals that you have are actually beneficial for you. I spoke to one person and they say, yeah, I'm trying to stay away from red meat and I want to go vegan. Well, is that beneficial for you? Is it providing you with all the vitamins that you need based on your situation? For example, if you have a higher physical activity or mental stress, maybe you're taking courses or you're at the initial stages of starting a new job, you're using more mental activity. You need to take that into consideration. So you need to increase certain minerals like zinc, or, you might need more potassium. You might need more magnesium, which is very common. Most of us need more vitamin D with K2. So these things are important because even if you say, okay, well, I've been executing this for the past month. Okay. Now, after you go through it and you've actually been executing that 90% of the time, now we have to look at, well, what is it that you think you should be doing? Oftentimes, there's a significant decrease in the amount of calories, which cuts nutrients. Many times, and oftentimes, people are still stuck on calories in versus calories out, which I don't recommend, because we are more specific beings than that. We're more intricately designed. Our body needs nutrients or registers nutrients and not just overall calories. And we know that if we take a look at a Twinkie versus an avocado, a Twinkie versus a tomato, a slice of cake versus a steak. All of these things are different. One thing can have more calories, less calories, but it doesn't tell us if it has the nutrients we need for that particular season. And so those are the two things that I found that when you go over those 2 points or those 2 areas, problem is solved. And so if you find yourself in that place where you're challenged and it's difficult, or you're frustrated, how come I can't accomplish my goal, or I know I'm not feeling the way I'm supposed to be feeling, my brain is foggy, I'm confused, I'm frustrated, I have high anxiety. Okay, your body is communicating something because there's something being done to it, and it's something that it needs. And so I want you to do those 2 things, okay? Pause. Always practice a pause. And for one, document at least for a full 7 days, Monday through Sunday. What are you eating, drinking, snacking on? Everything that goes into your mouth, every vitamin, every sip, every taste, every bite, every sample, put it down and write down the time that you had it. Okay? Then you'll see if, okay, what I'm actually doing is what I'm assuming that I'm doing. That'll alleviate a lot of confusion. If anything, alleviate the confusion. Now, the second part, determine the proper plan or protocol. You might be saying, oh, I'm cutting out this whole food group, but it might be a food group that you actually need. And so now go into, well, what are you doing that you're considering is being healthy? Are you cutting calories, which are depriving you of nutrients and your body's ability to function? Are you cutting calories? Are you focused on the scale? Okay, well then now you need to reframe. You need to start to reframe your mind and remind yourself and rewire your brain to say, okay, my body needs nutrients. It's not about calories. My body needs movement. It's not about getting an apple bottom. It's not about a 6-pack. And when those perspectives switch, your actions will be able to follow. Okay, you all? So I hope that was helpful. I look forward to talking to you all soon. You have a blessed day.